Okay, this is Mark meets Justin Cooke on selling Fortune Cookie. Hi Justin.
Hey Mark.
What was the first thing you bought when you sold Fortune Cookie?
A sofa.
That's the most unglamorous answer that you could have possibly given me.
I'm a practical man.
Okay.
I needed somewhere to sit.
Was it a nice sofa?
It was a lovely sofa. I'd had my eye on it for a while. It was a leather Chesterfield.
For home or for work?
For home.
Okay. How did you feel when you first signed the papers saying Fortune Cookie was to be no more? I
think it was emotional. I spoke to my mum the day of doing the deal, and I cried. But I think it was more for me not the end of Fortune Cookie, but almost kind of the end of the beginning of a journey that we've been on for the last 15 years. And I think I'd kind of emotionally, bought into the idea of kind of taking on the next chapter of the story, probably 3 or 4 months beforehand. So in one sense, the day kind of almost paled into insignificance in one way, but then, there are moments in that sort of signing process where it kind of all kind of wells up and kind of raises its head again. So yeah, highly emotional, but also, extremely kind of happy and excited about having a sort of a line in the sand and being able to say, chapter 1 is now over officially, chapter 2 begins, a new dawn.
So how will the deal, how will it improve the business?
There's just so many different kind of levels. I mean, you're sitting in our lovely new offices that we moved into a week ago, which we've completely designed from scratch around how you actually kind of go about making and creating things in the world that we're in now. So we've kind of applied a kind of similar process and approach to how we create things in digital for our physical offices. So very kind of client-centric, very kind of collaborative, very kind of inspired by the McLaren factory in terms of layout. Designing kind of I'm using too many cheesy buzzwords here, but the sort of giving people kind of ecosystems and having multidisciplinary teams sitting around kind of the client in the middle, coming up. We've got our own labs. So that's one side. We've got the whole kind of the backing of WPP, so the fuel and the network and the contacts and the relationships that those folks have and the experience they have of running businesses like ours for many tens of years. So that's hugely valuable in terms of having people that you can go to. We have a fantastic joint venture with Grey Advertising, which again gives us the ability to kind of work with some of the biggest brands in the world and collaborate as true partners. I think it's, I could go on and on, but there are so many benefits from kind of doing the deal, really.
So why was WPP the best option for Fortune Cookie?
I think you said it, really. It was the best option for Fortune Cookie. That's ultimately kind of what it's about. I think what you've got to be really clear about is what you're looking for, and then you've got to be very honest, clear about that to the people that you're having conversations with. Loads of other deals have obviously been happening this year. They'll continue to happen, moving forward, and those deals will be done on a similar basis. We sat down and we thought really clearly about where we wanted to be. And then we went out to the market and said, look, this is where we are, this is where we want to be, how can you help us get there? And for a number of reasons, WPP were the folks that we felt were going to help us get to where we wanted to be.
So did you approach WPP or did WPP approach you guys?
We basically, on the back of a number of approaches, realised that we'd taken the business to a size where having some form of kind of partner or involvement with a network would be the way that we would move to the next stage. And so we decided at that point, after those approaches, to kind of go to those individuals within those networks and say, this is who we are, this is where we want to be, can you help us? So we were kind of a little bit more proactive, and I think that was very helpful. I think going out rather than kind of responding is always the best kind of form of kind of attack, really, I suppose.
What's the secret of Fortune Cookie's success, and how has it become such a valuable asset?
Well, I think it's all really about people at the end of the day. It's about having a great team who are focused on the same thing, believe in a vision, and are able to kind of build relationships with people outside the agency, whether that's partners or with clients. I think the secret of Fortune Cookie's success, I think, really has been on the basis that we've built a brilliant team of individuals and we've also grown on the back of relationships that we've built with our clients, and we've invested in our clients, and those investments have delivered a return for our clients, and we've kind of grown as our clients have grown on the back of the great work that we've done.
Did you get any advice from anyone who has sold his or her business before as you were going through the process of selling?
I did, absolutely. Yeah, there's a long list of kind of entrepreneurs that have been there and done this themselves from a selling agency perspective. I spoke to a number of kind of businesses that are kind of set up to kind of help through a sale process, and I got lots of advice from kind of friends and from family as well at kind of key moments. Just more to be reassured about the fact that I was doing the right thing in the right way. And I think that it's very valuable, just listening to people and hearing their stories, and then being able to make a decision yourself about what's right for you.
How long did the process take between interest being shown in the purchase of Fortune Cookie to you signing the papers?
So we've had kind of conversations, I guess, that kind of started up towards the end of last year. That was kind of where we sort of made a decision to kind of look at getting some sort of external kind of help in going faster, and then obviously kind of we did the deal on the 1st of August of this year.
Okay, it's quite a while.
Yeah, it takes a while. It's I think you can at the end of the day you can do a deal a lot faster, but I think from both parties' sides we did it in a very measured and kind of structured way. It was, I think the right way to do it ultimately. And
were you ever in a room just with Sir Martin Sorrell? Was it just you two, or was there always other consultants around?
We had the luck of kind of having WPP here in London, which I think is really helpful. WPP's headquarters are 2 miles away, so we were able to meet and talk face to face a lot more than kind of perhaps if we'd been based in Sao Paulo, for example. And I think like everything in life, the best way to get anything done is to ultimately sit down and kind of talk about it face to face, and that was absolutely kind of, I think, one of the reasons why the deal happened.
And when you launched Fortune Cookie all of those years ago, did you always plan to sell?
No, it's interesting because I don't see this as me selling out, or selling. I don't see this as an exit. For me, this is very much kind of fuel. I'm looking to grow, and create kind of the next chapter of our story. The fact that I've kind of changed my name, from Fortune Cookie to Possible, is kind of just one of the things that I think, if you're very pragmatic about it, that I believe I had to do, and felt was necessary to kind of do that. And I love the name Fortune Cookie. I'm really proud of everything we've done for over the last 15 years, but I'm also extremely excited about what we're going to go on and do in the next 15, as possible.
What does it feel like to now have a boss?
That's a really good question. I think I kind of have. I've always. I think most people will probably tell you that they kind of. Certainly entrepreneurs, I think they always kind of almost have an internal boss. And obviously when you've actually kind of raised cash, you've got VCs. I've had kind of VCs, in the frame in the past. So I've had kind of people that I needed to kind of justify and report to, and to a sense, I think I've always tried to do that almost to myself as well. So I'm probably my fiercest critic, in a sense. So I don't think it's kind of something that I'm totally new to, but I think that there are scenarios where having a physical boss is a really interesting new change for me. And my new boss is actually arriving today from the US, so I'm getting everything ready for him.
Why wearing your best shirt?
That's right, absolutely right.
So just remind our viewers, how much was the Emergen acquisition? How much did you sell Fortune Cookie for?
Oh, that's not something that I can kind of talk about, sort of, in tangible terms. I'm afraid that's sort of down to kind of the fact that WPP is a listed business. But we were really happy with kind of how kind of commercially the deal was structured, and I think it was really fair and equitable, and we are well and truly sort of set up for success moving forward.
Can I have £1 million, please?
Put together a business case, show me the return on investment, we can talk.
Fine, maybe I'll do that. Obviously, apart from the money, what are the key factors? What were the other key factors for you deciding to kind of join up with the network?
I think it sort of mentioned briefly earlier, but I think we've got kind of the backing of WPP, which is extremely powerful.
So you've now got an international.
We've got with WPP we are well and truly global.
Yeah.
Within Possible, we have 32 offices around the world. We have 1,600 people around the world. That's up from 200. We have relationships that exist within WPP with clients and brands. We have relationships that exist within the Possible network around the world. We have access to an enormous and very capable kind of pool of talent. We're able to service our clients, in more markets. We're able to tap into kind of WPP's best practice and systems and processes. We have the ability to kind of offer our employees more options in terms of if they want to kind of go and do a secondment somewhere else in the world, or they want to focus on a particular brand. We have those sorts of kind of opportunities. So the list kind of goes on.
Okay. What's next for Justin Cooke?
Well, I'm really, focused on building out a really amazing global agency. I think we've got, an amazing start.
So your new role is as CEO
of the UK.
CEO of the UK, okay.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So I think kind of primarily my focus is going to be on UK and Europe moving forward. And I think Possible has an extremely strong, capable kind of Americas and Asia Pac kind of, management team. And what I want to do is kind of really bring Possible up to being kind of, the most talked about, the most desired sort of agency in the UK, and then just try and replicate that, across Europe.
How will Possible look to position itself in the UK? Because obviously WPP have other digital investments and representations in the UK. Fortune Cookie had its own special moments. So how will Fortune Cookie fit into the market? How will Possible fit into the market?
So Possible will fit into the market by, I think, kind of combining creativity with innovation and performance, which kind of for us, is effectively kind of an amalgam of all of those different sort of kind of parts that kind of now are part of Possible. So we've got some incredible kind of stories around transformation, innovation. We've also got some superb capability around kind of performance and optimization and effectiveness. I think if you kind of bring that together with kind of creativity, you've got something really kind of compelling. So I think we'll kind of probably have those kind of three kind of core kind of like sort of components of that of a combined proposition as our kind of go-to-market strategy. And it will be underpinned by the fact that kind of that it's our people that make us possible.
Yeah. Let's move on to a quick fire round.
Okay.
Independent agencies or networked agencies?
They both have a place.
Fortune Cookie or Possible worldwide?
Possible, 100%.
Oasis or Blur?
Depends on which era you're talking about, but I'll pick an era and I'll say Blur.
Beer or spirits?
Spirits.
Your favourite type of cookie?
Chocolate chip and peanut butter.
Interesting, okay. Being in your overdraft or being a millionaire?
Say that again.
Being in your overdraft or being a millionaire?
I think that's an obvious answer, that one.
Okay, I'll take being in an overdraft. And lastly, twist or stick?
I'll twist.
Thank you very much.